And we are live, guys. Let's talk about massive work ethic today so that I can get you going for the week and beyond. I am here to help you understand the importance of work ethic, the importance of serving other people, making things happen for you and your family or your future family. It don't matter. We're going to make the 80-hour work week cool again. And it was cool. It doesn't seem to be cool anymore, and that's a problem. We're going to fix it. When was it cool? When was it ever cool to work? Back in the day, most people were broke. Okay, and now we're returning to a scenario where that is the case as well. We've had some lots and lots of plenty of great years. The baby boomers have enjoyed themselves and also their kids. And now the grandkids of those baby boomers are coming into a worldwide whirlwind of a storm of financial trouble. And we've not really brought it upon ourselves, but we kind of are continuing to by not understanding how to fix the problem so that we never end up in that situation ever again. Poverty is a choice in this day and age right now. It's a choice because you are able to, in most countries, you're able to tap into a massive work ethic to learn the things that are necessary in order for you to become a business owner because you have the internet, because you have all of the information at your fingertips. It really comes down to your desire to actually make money. And so for those people who are not in that vicinity of desiring to make money, it's really on themselves that they're broke, right? Like, yes, you have parents who didn't understand about money, but everyone can see that they themselves are broke, right? Like it's you can't escape it if you're broke. You know you're broke. So if you are okay with that, that should not be okay. We're not poverty shaming, but we are helping people to realize that you can become successful and you can make money and you can get where you want to go and get pretty much everything in life you want. Okay? There are some things that, there are some trade-offs that need to be made, but in general, you can get what you want out of life. You can have joy, bliss, and happiness. But it's going to come at the other end of a massive work ethic. Getting everything in life that you want is cool. Can we agree on that? Which means that doing the thing that's necessary in order for you to get whatever it is that you want is also cool. And the 4-hour work week don't work for someone that has never done the 80-hour work week, because you're competing against people that are doing the 80-hour work week. And so if they're doing 20 times more work than you are, and you do not know how to work smart yet, but that time will come if you put in the 80-hour work week, then you don't deserve to win if you're not willing to do the 80-hour work week. Right? So, back in the day, a lot of poverty was there, and then there were some few individuals that refused to accept that being the status quo, and then they pulled their bootstraps, right? They started working hard. They started realizing that working hard at this specific thing did not create much results. This is what happens when you start working the 80-hour work week as an employee. You eventually have to make a life choice, right? You do the 80-hour work week. Hopefully, at some point in time, you actually will. If you never need to, then you'll never really fulfill your true potential. Sorry to tell you, it's how it works. But if you do the 80-hour work week, then you will get to a point where you have a choice. There's two directions. One, you could say, holy crap, this was not enjoyable, and I'm going to stop doing this and get the heck out of there, because this is not what I want my life to be like. And so I'm going to quit at doing the 80-hour work week and return back to 40 hours, preferably 30 if I can find a job that gives me 30 hours a week and I can make the money that I need to pay my bills for the kind of lifestyle that I'm willing to settle with and be okay with, even though I'm still kind of poor, still broke. At least I have some free time next to my job. and I use that free time with friends and family that I have good relationships with, and take care of my health. And I'm okay with being broke. It was that one guy, the personal trainer that Alex Hormozy mentioned that one time, who basically the guy. I'm gonna butcher the story, but I'm gonna share it anyway because I think it's important that people know about it. He had a guy that worked for him who was making 24K a year, and then he became a manager because he was great at his job, and now that basically doubled his income. And then after a few months, he was like, "Hey, I want to talk to you. I actually kind of just want to be a personal trainer again." And Alex Hormozy was like shocked, saying, "Okay, you know that you're gonna basically half your income doing that." And he's like, "Yeah, well then I'll just be poor then." And Alex Hormozy was like, oh, an explosion went up in his brain. And then he was like, but this was the happiest guy he knew, yada, yada, yada. Me personally, I can see through that person and understand that he did not, it wasn't, yes, he wanted life quality, but he wanted life quality now. And he sacrificed his future life quality for the impatience to have life quality now. And Alex Hormozy was looking at this situation as this guy's the happiest ever. And then they met 10 years later and he was still the happiest and bubbliest guy, whatever. But he was actually saying to Alex Hormozy, bro, imagine, isn't it crazy that we used to do this and now you're doing all of this? Like, the fact that he was even saying that just shows that he wished he had done the same things that Alex Hormozy had done. Maybe not, right? Maybe he was like, I don't want to do what Alex does because that's freaking crazy what he's trying to do. But he could have done very well for himself. No need for $100 million. Okay? Like, just get your $1 million or $5 million, bro, and then cruise into the sunset and do what you want for the rest of your life. But I'm trying to explain to you guys that true joy, bliss, and happiness comes from the combination of doing what you love and making great money at it. You want both, right? And that's what makes the 80-hour work week cool, because you're doing something that you enjoy doing. And I have to mention it here, in the beginning, it's not going to be enjoyable because you're doing the stuff that the people at the lower part of the barrel are doing because they haven't learned the early lessons yet. There are some early lessons that need to be learned in business, or in any business for that matter. If you're an employee or if you're an entrepreneur, it doesn't matter. But you have to start where everyone else started, pushing your cart with coffee. Obviously, I don't know if people do that anymore. I've never worked in corporate, truly. So I don't even know how that would look like. But everyone starts at the bottom. And when you start at the bottom, you have to do things that you are not willing to do, or that other people are not willing to do. The more you're willing to do the stuff that people are not willing to do, the more you get yourself noticed. The more noticed you are by the superiors, they're the only ones that can pull you up to the next step. Or if it's not your superiors at a workplace, it's people who want to buy your stuff. The more you serve other people, the better job you do at that. And the more you do the things that people are not willing to do, like putting in the work, being rejected, calling on people and doing, the stuff that needs to get done, the more people will notice you. And as a result, they build you up, or they pick you up from where you are and take you to the next level. The cool part about that is that now you've learned your lesson. You now know how to sell. You were just doing the stuff that other people are not willing to do. Most of the time in the beginning of your business journey, that is sales, selling. No one wants to do it. The moment you say in your brain, I don't like sales, I don't like sales, I don't like talking to people, I don't like being rejected, you are messing up your future. Sales is a necessary part of life for everyone. You should not ever escape it. I'm telling you this because I want you to create joy, bliss, and happiness for yourself. And without understanding sales, you're shooting your joy, bliss, and happiness in the foot. Because joy, bliss, and happiness is based on people skills and relationship skills, emotional intelligence, you not being offended. And guess what? The people that get rejected the most are the ones that figure out real quick that being offended actually doesn't help me to close the sale. And as a result, I'm never going to get offended ever again. And if you do the 80-hour work week, you will learn that lesson faster. If you don't do the 80-hour work week, you might not ever learn that lesson. So you end up being bad at people skills, and those are the people that get divorces, that don't have friends, that basically put themselves in a situation of where they regret the failure of the relationships that they have in their lives. Does it happen that billionaires and multimillionaires have divorces? Absolutely. Okay? It happens. And they've got people skills. So what happened there? But they also have to combine that with an understanding of female nature, right? So this is at every level of the game, right? So there will be people that have a massive work ethic but don't understand female nature, and as a result get divorced. But it wasn't very financially wise, was it? Like, if they were wise businessmen, why would they fail at their marriage? Like, marriage is just like business success is inevitable. Relationship success is inevitable if you know what you're doing. Right? Like that's why people fail in business. They don't know what they're doing. They're not putting in the work. Relationship failure comes from not putting in the work in the right places and then not figuring it out. If you knew what you were doing, you would inevitably succeed. And how do you gain that knowledge? The information is gained from work or studying. And sometimes studying is work. The vast majority of the time, work is mostly talking to people and understanding from other people and networking and figuring out who has the solution, who can coach me on this the fastest so that I can get the fastest result. I'm explaining to you right now how to, like, why making the 80-hour work week work for you and making it cool again so that people understand that this is actually the purpose of life. Okay? What? How can you say the 80-hour work week is the purpose of life? Okay, let me turn off this video right now. I'm influencing you to understand that if you do the 80-hour work week long term, you'll understand the same lesson that I finally learned. Honestly, I kind of knew this from the very beginning. I've always had a competitive nature. I'm the youngest of five, of six brothers, and I've always understood that if I put in massive amounts of effort, things are going to go well. Things are going to go in my direction. And if I get diversified and distracted and do other stuff rather than serving strangers, we've got a problem on our hands that is going to get exponentially worse. So why is everything designed this way? From the universe perspective, let's just think like the universe for a second. Why do we have to serve strangers? That's so annoying. Why couldn't we just have access to what we need, like at all times, so that we don't need to talk to and serve strangers? There's a specific lesson that we needed to learn with that. What is it? Well, think about it from this perspective. It must be important, right? It was so important that the universe, you can call it God, okay? I'm just making this channel religion friendly for all religions, okay? But just let's call it him, God, okay? And like God would create a situation where we need to eat, okay? And where we need to have a roof over our heads, and where we need to solve problems that requires products or services from other people. And like, why are all these things created? For which specific purpose? Well, what is the end goal in mind of this entire existence? The end goal in mind is for us to learn how to connect with other people. That's it. It's relationships. It always will, always has been, always will be. The more you understand how to connect with people, the better life you're going to have. And the better life you have, the more you thank God for it. Right? That would kind of make sense. And so think about it from this perspective. The system is so that we need to eat, we need to put a roof over our heads, and we need to serve other people. And what that naturally creates is like, I have people that I love, okay? Your inner circle, your loved ones. You got a wife, got kids, and I don't want them to have pain. I don't want them to suffer. I don't want my mother to suffer. I don't want the people that I know to suffer. Okay, so what do you do if they suffer? Well, you have a choice. There's two paths. One, you can work directly for them. So how would that look like if I wanted to serve my wife and kids by giving them a roof over their heads and food in their bellies? If I didn't have access to strangers, I would start working the earth, right? I would start being a farmer. I would plow the earth, and I would make sure that we build something of wood of sorts, right? This is how we've progressed throughout all of these eras and generations until we've arrived at this point in time, where most of the time we figured out that it's ineffective for me to work directly on serving my family. It's much better and easier for me to get everything that I need through experts, because experts do things a lot faster. And so if I were to build my own house, it would take forever for me to build my own house because I don't know how to do it. No matter if it's wood, no matter if it's whatever else people work, stone, steel, all that stuff. I'm glad I didn't have to figure that out in my early 20s, okay? Someone else had already done it. I could just readily move into this new apartment that cost me basically less than in rent, less than what I had to work, at an entire job for 40 hours a week at. Like 1/3 of my salary goes to my housing. Okay, approximately that's what's average for people. And we figured out a way over the long generations that I could indirectly serve lots and lots and lots of strangers with my specialty, the thing that I do extremely well. And I devote 80 hours a week, okay? 40 to 80 hours, okay? If we're just speaking in history now, to get better and better at my craft. The better I am at my craft, the more I will have people who indirectly need my services in order for them to serve their family. And so they manage to do 80-hour work week in their specific specialty and expertise in order for them to have the money, which is a great invention, by the way, in order to pay me so that I have money for the problems that I want to solve for my family. And they buy the stuff for their family. And in this way, we are all serving each other. This is what the world of business is. It's service to strangers because of God's design. He designed it that way. He wants us to work. He wants us to be productive. He wants us to be useful, to have utility. That's our job as men, to have utility for not only for ourselves, for our loved ones, but for the people around us, for strangers especially, people that we're never going to see again. Okay? And I mean, it's awesome if you get recurring revenue, right? Where you can work with the same people again and again and again and again, which is really cool because what happens then? You develop relationships with those people. You develop connections that you end up having for life, which is freaking awesome. Like if you do work, you're going to get those types of relationships. You're going to be able to provide for those that you love. But if you do double the amount of work, you're going to get deeper relationships depending upon where you place your work. Like what type of work do you do? Who do you serve? Do you serve the same people over and over again that you love and that you want to build and support and help in order for them to solve their problems so that they can have an enjoyable life? This is it. This is it, guys. There's nothing else to life other than serving each other. We're literally every single waking hour of our lives is designed for us to enjoy. That's first thing. But it's also designed for us to work. Every waking hour, the sleep is for recovery, right? You've got two different parts of your day and two different parts of work. So I'll explain this right now. You have the work of solving other people's problems who are not part of your inner family circle. Okay? So you work 11 and a half hours a day. If you refuse to do the 80-hour work week, hopefully you do 8 hours a day for 5 days a week. If you don't do that, you're not following, in my opinion, God's design. Okay? The universe is designed for all of his children, or especially men. Okay? Women have a different role and responsibility, in my opinion. You might have a different opinion. I don't really care. Okay? I'm just sharing my message here so that you guys kind of get a grasp of how life works. Like if you understand how life works, everything becomes so much simpler. We're designed to serve each other. And 80% of that day, it's actually a little bit less than, it's more like 70%. but 11 and a half hours a day is for serving other people outside of the home so that you can get money or whatever it is that you wanted to barter or trade for, so that you can now go home with money, having slayed the lion or whatever it is that you want to, call it. And then you bring food on the table or money on the table so the wife can go out and buy the food, prepare the food, feed the kids, feed you, feed her, and those that, that needs to be served. And then we have a nice cozy place where we can call home, where we can take care of each other, raise our kids, teach them to be nice to each other, be nice to each other, have, cozy time with your wife, whatever. All of that stuff we managed to create because of service to other people. Service to other people is good. A lot of service to other people is better. The maximum amount of service that we can provide for other people is the best. Okay, so that's the one part of work. Then you have the second part, which is work on yourself. What do I mean by that? Working on yourself is taking care of you, making sure that, just like they say on the airplane, you put your own mask on so that you can help other people afterwards if you can. If you don't put your own mask on, you won't be capable of helping other people. And that's a principle. So you have the 4.5 hours of your day where you're not serving other people outside of the home, where you're serving yourself and serving those in your home if you have a family, right? If you have wife and kids and they need you a little bit more, so the 80-hour work week has to be cut down a little bit, that's fine, okay? I don't work 80 hours every single week, even though I spout it every single day, as much as I possibly can on YouTube. And the reason why is because I've worked the 80-hour work week in the past, which allows me the time to not need to do that as much right now if my family needs me. The less my family needs me and the more order there is in the home and the more everything goes the way that it's supposed to go, the more I can go out and actually serve people more. And why would I do that? Like, why can't I just travel to the beaches of the world and, and travel with the family and do whatever it is that we want to do and create experiences, yada, yada, yada? Because I have an example to set for my kids, especially my boys. They need to see that I work. My 16-year-old now had his first job 2 days ago. Okay. Yesterday was his first day at his first job. I got that job for him 20 meters away from our house. He's working at a fruit and veg, pop and what's it called? Mom and pop shop. And I'm so stoked about it. Like, I'm fired up because he's finally more productive than he's ever been. He's actually out there serving people. And there's nothing more that I want than him being productive and serving other people, because I know that that's what produces joy, bliss, and happiness long term, and also helps him discover the leverage of creating systems so that he can multiply his efforts. So he doesn't just do a little bit of work and think small, oh, this is all I can do and I work 80 hours a week. No, you want to get to the point where you help 1 million people, if possible, do the 80-hour work week. Like, do you understand the power of 1 million people working the 80-hour work week compared to 40 hours a week? Right? You go from 40 million hours of service to 80 million hours of service. Like, it's the numbers game. Imagine 1 million people putting in 80 million hours of serving strangers on a continual basis. That is how we make the world a better place. Entrepreneurship and business is the solution to that. And the faster you do the 80-hour work week in a normal job, or gig jobs for that matter, the faster you'll understand that this is not the way. Exactly. Perfect. Because now you understand that, okay, I will stop doing this and serve less people, or I will go and create a business of my own where I will hire other people and create systems that serve millions upon millions of people. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. That's why. Okay? The triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. The triumph of evil is for good men to remain at 40 hours a week of work. Yeah, that's the triumph of evil. If someone instead starts aiming at the 80-hour work week, and that's my ultimate goal, I want to get to there. I want to create a life filled with joy, bliss, and happiness where I put in massive work, massive efforts in order for me to get what I want, because I know that if I do put in the 80-hour work week, I can get everything in life that I want. Everything. The price is paid, yes, in the beginning of the journey. Massive prices have to be paid, including the massive amount of work ethic. But you end up having so much time in the future that you can literally switch paths and put the 80-hour work week towards optimizing whatever else in your life that you want to optimize for success in that specific area. Or changing the business so that you can serve other people and solving a problem that's even harder to solve than whatever you've done in the past. Right? You're creating such automation in your business that you're no longer needed. You replace yourself with better people. So you move on to the next problem. That's the biggest problem on planet Earth that needs to be solved. This is how you need to think. And when you think in terms of bettering people's lives, your life naturally improves. That's the universal law of reciprocity. That if you do good to others, others will do good to you. How good does it feel when other people do good things to you? It feels fantastic. And guess what? That's how you tap into joy, bliss, and happiness. This is very simple information put, simplified for you so that anyone can understand. And I wish I'd understood this, at an early age. And in fact, I kind of did. Okay. But no one put it to me in these simple terms like you got right now. I kind of have to figure that out on my own. In the beginning, I was very selfish. I worked 80 hours a week because I wanted to get rich. And I wanted to get, because I, right? But the more you figure out that the 80-hour work week is not about you. It's not about you at all. It's about the win-win that happens. The win-win between you and the universe. The win-win between you and God. He wants you to put the 80-hour work week in. Now, if you're sick, if you're unhealthy, blah, 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 and all that stuff, and you need to prepare yourself in order for you to get ready for the 80-hour work week, different story. But if you're healthy, young male, and have the capacities to do the 80-hour work week and do it wisely, the way that I've explained tons on this channel about how to do that wisely. If you just search up 80-hour work week, Joseph.ONTRACC, you'll find all of my videos on the 80 hours of how to successfully do it long term, not just for 1 or 2 months, like for a sprint. This is your life. This is how you set it up so that you do things that you enjoy long term. Right? I have one client who's a musician, right? And he's not necessarily doing the 80-hour work week yet, but he's building himself up towards it. And he's serving other people, believe it or not, right? We, as a human species, love music. So is he actually serving other people? Massively. The cool part is that he's doing something that he loves. And he thought when he started working with me that he would have to do something else in music that would, that's more secure or more likely for him to make money, yada, yada. But I'm like, bro, fulfill your passion. Is this the real deal, the thing that you want to do? Then just make sure you have income coming in and then invest as many flippin' hours as you possibly can in the stuff that you absolutely love the journey and the destination of. There's a lot of things where we don't enjoy the journey of it, but the destination is freaking fantastic. Then you just have to ask yourself, am I willing to go through this journey that is uncomfortable in order for me to get to the other side, to get the results that I want? The 80-hour work week will speed up that process, and money loves speed. And so that's why we're making the 80-hour work week cool again. All right. So as I was saying, every single hour of every single day should be spent optimizing for joy, bliss, and happiness for planet Earth. The way to create that is by making sure that you continuously have joy, bliss, and happiness. It starts with you. If you don't have joy, bliss, and happiness, then how on earth can you spread the joy? You can't, right? So you got to choose to do the 80-hour work week because you want to spread joy, bliss, and happiness while at the same time having joy, bliss, and happiness in your life. Is that even possible? Isn't the 80-hour work week going to absolutely make me miserable? Why should it make you miserable if you're serving God? Is it miserable to serve God? Is it miserable? Even Jesus said it, in the Bible, no offense to all of the other religions, but in the Bible, it says that Jesus says that we should serve each other and that the least amongst you is you should be his servant. right? Does that tell you something? Like, we should go out there and serve everyone that needs our assistance and help. And guess what? Guess what service to other people is? It's just helping them solve their problems so that they can optimize their joy, bliss, and happiness. That's really all it is. Man, I'm so fired up about this topic because no one talks about this. Have you ever heard anyone talk about work is how you optimize joy, bliss, and happiness? No, I didn't think so. All right, let's see. Relaxing, recovering. Yes, that's work on you. Exercising, right? Sometimes watching a movie. Tomorrow I'm gonna go and watch The Odyssey with my daughter. Never seen it before, don't know much about it. There's some cool actors, whatever. That was the only thing that we found that was a good movie on right now. And 2 hours, 45 minutes, like, do I regret buying those tickets? No, it's with my daughter, and it's gonna rejuvenate me because we haven't spent a lot of time in the last few weeks, and I want to spend time with her, and so I'm setting aside that, even though I could have done reach outs and served strangers. Right now, for me, in order for me to optimize my service to other people, that's what's needed right now. And I know that if I have a great connection with my daughter long term, she's going to be able to optimize her life and her situation so that she can serve the world in the best possible way, right? And she'll look back at her childhood being happy about it. This is the importance of raising kids, by the way, right? And also the importance of becoming a father. Like, becoming a father is so crucial because you are duplicating the 80-hour work week. That's one thing. But you're also duplicating your example of being a good person. Like, if you're a good person, then you should be having kids, because your good child is going to do great things for thousands upon tens of thousands upon probably millions of people if he adopts the entrepreneurial mindset that you've already got. So the richer you are, the better of a person you are, the more your responsibility is to have kids to actually serve other people, and then teaching them to serve other people and to find joy in serving other people. That's what it's all about. Let's see if there's anything that I've left out. I took some notes before I got started. I'm sure there might be some comments. If you guys did comment on some videos here, I will respond to them at the end. And so, very grateful if you guys are sticking around to hear that. And but obviously, I can't promise. Let's see. Make the 80-hour work week. Hey, we got. I'm Imran, bro. Great speech ever. Yeah, appreciate you, Imran. Okay, cool. Great to have you guys here. All right. Yeah, imagine if we only served our family. That's what I wrote. And no strangers at all. Like, one, your network wouldn't expand. There would be no interconnectedness between all of us. There's no diversity, no learning. Imagine never being able to meet a stranger. That sucks because you're so busy. I need to serve my family. It's like, no, the way you serve your family is by serving other people and serving strangers who have families so that they can serve their family more effectively, because we all have different types of expertise. Yeah, it would be the same old, same old. So yeah, exactly. It's cool to have money. Money brings, a team. Yeah, I forgot about mentioning that. When you put in the 80-hour work week, you come to a point where you want to do more, right? Because you find so much joy in what you do, so you want to give that to more people and solve more people's problems. Like, if you're one of the most effective people in the world at a specific skill and in solving a specific problem, it's selfish of you to not allow that expertise to reach out to 10 times more people than you're currently reaching. That's selfish. So that would be an evil thing to do, to keep that information to yourself or to keep that system to yourself when it could have gone out to a million people, right? So what is your responsibility? Your godly duty and responsibility. It is to now find a way to create a system where other people can be coached by you and get better at that specific skill faster as a result of being coached by you, so that they can go out and start doing the 80-hour work week and serving other people at the same speed that you do. And then hopefully they can now teach other people, new people that are coming in, and you duplicate that way so that millions upon millions upon millions of people actually get their problem solved. And you started out as being the one that knew how to solve it. And now suddenly you've helped millions of people know how to solve it. And now we've solved that problem forever. The cool part about that is that we can move on now to another problem, right? We don't have to be stuck relearning the same lessons over and over again because we know now. Like it's done. It's over. We figured it out because one dude figured it out and then he massively duplicated it throughout the world. Okay? Not only that, but personal development is a team sport. The more you understand that you need to do the 80-hour work week and you now need to serve 1 million people, which means that if you were going to do that on your own, you would have to have 1 million hours, which you don't. We're all limited by the time we have, which means that you have to get other people involved. And so you will personally develop as a result of the team that you build up because you get a small, tiny percentage of all of the work that that entire force does. All of those employees, you get a tiny percentage. Why? Because the universe teaches us win-win. If you actually have created that system, you should be allowed to become a billionaire in terms of net worth. Why not? Because you created it. Not only that, but as a billionaire, you've now created hundreds of thousands of jobs. And that is a fantastic thing because you're creating a system where people are enabled to go out and serve strangers so that they can now feed their families, which was by God's design. You see how it all fits together? This is life. Life is exciting. Life is awesome. But life is awesome because of work, because of productivity, because of serving other people and serving strangers. All right. The more hours you work, the more people you get to serve. Bro, I've already said everything that I need to say today. I'm so grateful for all of you guys. Thank